Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today you join us for our long-awaited Icon of the Seas review. We did the inaugural voyage out of Miami on the 27th of January. We've been back home now for a few days and had a chance to reflect, think about the ship and our experience, and I wanted to share that with you here in this video. Now, a couple of disclaimers before we get into the main portion of the video. The first one is that we haven't been paid for this cruise. We didn't get sponsored or anything. We're a family of 4 that booked this voyage as soon as they became available on sale. So this is our honest review as a family of our experience. We're not being sponsored to say anything. We haven't been paid anything on the cruise or anything like that. This is just for us and our own benefit, and we're going to share honest answers and experiences with you. The next thing I wanted to say is that this is going to be a fairly long review, and as a result what I'm going to do is in the description down below you'll see different sections and timestamps. So if you want to jump forward to a particular area, whether it's embarkation day, the cabin, the ship, food, drink, whatever it may be, then check down below in the description. You can easily jump then to each section for you, so you know where to kind of jump in and kick off. Also, if you want to come back to the video, again you can use that to navigate nice and easy for you. The last thing I wanted to say is that if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you very much for watching this video. We're Coast to Coasters. We make cruise videos and stuff as a family, and sometimes on our other voyages and adventures as well. So if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. But now it's time for our long-awaited Icon of the Seas review. Let's go!
Welcome back to the channel.
Ready for another cruise? Let's go! Now, the first thing I wanted to start talking about is Embarkation Day. Obviously, Embarkation Day is the moment you get on board your cruise ship finally after months of waiting, and it kickstarts your holiday. Now, Icon of the Seas was already in Miami for a couple of days, having previously come off various different media cruises and family voyages to get the ship ready for its service on the 27th of January. So the ship was already there nice and early, and we had a boarding time of 11:30. Now, both Kate and I and the boys were very nervous about Embarkation Day because we knew the excitement around Icon. We knew everyone was going to be eager to get on board, and that did show because there were actually people boarding at Terminal A at 9 AM. Some people with which had, boarding times that were way past midday, 1 o'clock. So we were very sceptical that it was going to be very busy and very chaotic. And as you'll see in our Embarkation Day video, which is on the channel as well, up here or down below, it actually wasn't too bad. We were pleasantly surprised, and I think that's down to Royal Caribbean and how they utilise Terminal A. It's their own terminal. It's been designed for them and these mega ships, and they do a fantastic job. From getting curbside and dropping our bags with the porters, to going through the initial kind of sea pass check, and then security and getting onto the ship, probably 15 minutes or so. It was really easy, really straightforward. We had no issues, and then we were straight onto the fun. Fantastic to see. You'll have an excellent Embarkation Day hopefully on your cruise with Royal Caribbean. Next up, I wanted to talk about our initial impressions. Obviously that wow moment when you first get on board the ship and start discovering all these amazing venues for yourselves. Now, as you board Icon of the Seas, you're taken through a little bit of an outdoor kind of walking area and the jogging track, and then you're straight onto the Royal Promenade and greeted with their brand new kind of wow welcome, and that is the Pearl. Now, the Pearl is a lovely new addition on Icon of the Seas. It's the largest kinetic art sculpture currently available, and it's absolutely stunning. In terms of that initial wow factor, you can't really get much better. It's colourful, there's music playing, all the staff were really excited and happy to have you on board. They were giving out free champagne, and it was just a fantastic and lovely feel. It really kind of kick-started the holiday on the right foot. The actual Pearl itself is absolutely beautiful. I love the different colours it showed throughout the voyage, the way it moves and flows. You'll find yourself kind of sitting there memorised almost just how beautiful it is. It's such a fantastic addition to the ship. Obviously you've got the Royal Promenade with all the new venues and art sculptures. There's loads of new bars on board. As you're kind of boarding the ship, you start to see the size and the colourful water parks of Thrill Island and Surfside come into view. So there's so much going on, and it kind of makes a boarding day a little bit overwhelming almost, because you're super excited. You don't know which way to go first. There really are some fantastic and beautiful areas on board. That's the thing that we really noticed, is that the areas were absolutely stunning. Everywhere was pristinely clean. It was really nicely designed. There's beautiful artwork and colours. You've got all the different kind of bright and vibrant colours of Surfside and the Thrill Island Water Park, which for kids and stuff is fantastic. You've got lots and lots of stuff coming into all of it here, and the ship is absolutely beautiful. So the next thing I wanted to talk about then was the cabin. Now usually you have to wait until around 1 PM before you can go to your cabin and have a little look around, but on this particular voyage, as Icon had already been in port for a couple of days, we could head straight to the cabin pretty much and have a little kind of peek at what it was looking like. When we got to the cabin, there was a nice little welcome gift from Royal Caribbean in the form of some beach mats and hats and what have you, and puzzles for the kids. Really nice touch and a kind of exciting way to kickstart your holiday again. Now for this particular cruise, we opted for a Surfside balcony cabin located on deck 11. Now if you've watched any of our previous videos, we've always been a little bit sceptical about going for an interior facing cabin. We usually prefer to have an ocean view because we like to have that feeling of being close to the sea and a kind of separate space where you can go out onto your balcony, enjoy some of the kind of sounds of the ocean and the quiet while other people are in the cabin. But for this particular cruise, we went for a Surfside balcony on deck 11. We've got a room tour video down below as well, or on the screen now for you if you want to click and check that out. But we really like this cabin. Actually, we were very pleasantly surprised with it. The two things that standed out for us for the most, was the bathroom size. They've really kind of increased the bathroom size. The showers are very decent size now with a little step in it. If you've got little ones, it becomes easier to wash them. The cabin is really nice and light, bright and airy. We love the kind of design touches they've done in there, how kind of modern they've made it look. And the other thing that impressed us the most was the balcony area itself. Now we were actually located kind of nearer the back of the ship, underneath the Hideaway pool area. But what I really like about that is not only did you have a fantastic view of Surfside and all the fun activities going on, the colours and the water park and stuff, but you also had a little bit of an ocean view. So as you'll see from the footage I'm putting up as I talk now, there's a really lovely view from where our cabin was located, and I was very, very impressed actually with its location and also the noise, because that was another concern that we had. We were worried that the cabin was going to be noisy with the sounds of Surfside and music and playing and all that kind of stuff. But actually when you shut the cabin door for the balcony, it really does a very good job at sealing away the noise. The only noise you can hear is a very, very faint whisper of music, but that's generally only at peak times anyway. In the evening, when it got to kind of 9 and 10 o'clock, when you're looking at maybe going to bed, the room was absolutely perfect. It really, really was nice. We really enjoyed this cabin and its location. Oh, only two minor things with the cabin, and again this will be in our review for the cabin as well, is the storage space was a little bit strange with the kind of baskets and stuff they've got into the wardrobe. They look fantastic, but they make quite a lot of noise when you pull it out, and maybe some kind of drawers and stuff would be better there. And the other thing was the kind of bed situation for our cabin, in terms of our cabin slept 4 people, and the bed for people 3 and 4 for our boys was a kind of a converted sofa bed, which did the job perfectly fine, but we would prefer maybe a bunk bed set up or a Pullman bed like some cruise ships, just because it means that you have a little bit of extra space in the evening. If they're trying to sleep, you can still easily get access to the balcony. That being said, we could still access the balcony, and these are two very, very minor points in an otherwise fantastic cabin. But again, there's a full tour of that down in the description, so be sure to check that out if you want to have a look. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the ship design, the different venues on the ship, the areas and stuff that you and your family can enjoy. Now for Royal Caribbean, they usually use something called neighbourhoods, and Icon of the Seas is no exception. On board you'll find 8 neighbourhoods. Some are new ones, some are returning favourites that have been redesigned and tweaked slightly and improved, but there are lots of lovely, fabulous areas on board this ship. I wanted to start off with Surfside, which is the brand new family area on board. This is located at the rear of the ship between decks 6, 7 and 8, and this area has been specifically designed for families, for kids, and it's an absolutely beautiful area of the ship. As I mentioned, our cabin overlooked here as well, and it's perfect. It's such a good area for kids. You've got the splash area back here, you've got an adult pool, you've got some really nice eateries, the arcade, there's a carousel, there's a kids playground. There's so many activities here to do for everyone. Now what I love that Royal Caribbean have done with this is really taken that idea about creating this space for families. Not only is there so much to do for kids, but they've tried to incorporate the adults as well, and just make sure that it's a nice space where you as a family can enjoy your holiday. The thing I really love about Surfside, and I mentioned this in our kids activities review, is that if you want, you can base yourself there all day. If you went down there in the morning and put a towel on a sunbed, you could literally lay there all day if you wanted. You've got really nice eateries, complimentary and speciality food, you've got a bar, you've got the kids club access very quickly, you've got an arcade, a splash area pool. You literally could base yourself in one spot and not move. The kids kind of splash area, for example, they've put this large bench around where you can sit down as an adult if you want in the sunshine while you watch your little ones, or if you prefer to be in the water and pool yourself, there's also a little pool right at the rear of the ship by the splash area. You can sit in there if you want, and again, watch your little one. So it's a nice balance. You don't have to sit in the cold or in the shade and stuff while they're in the splash area. You can be part of the fun as well, while also enjoying obviously the water and the wake view at the rear of the ship. It really is fantastic. On a similar note, the Lemon Post Bar, which is a new drinks venue on board Icon of the Seas, is a really fun, quirky bar for kids. What I love here is not only have you got your boozy alcohol cocktails for adults, you've got the some kid-friendly options as well. They've designed these kind of kid-friendly cocktails in pouches where it's kind of got juice and sweets in, and it's a really nice way again of getting the kids involved and making them feel like part of the kind of experience of ordering a drink and what have you, and having something fun and quirky. It's fun then for adults, and it's also fun for kids. It really is a fantastic little bar right by the splash area and the pool, so you don't have to walk too far to get a cocktail. In terms of dining, of course, that's a big part of your experience as well. You've got Surfside Bites here, Pier 7 and Surfside Eatery. Now Pier 7 is a speciality restaurant here in Surfside. It's a fairly reasonable menu, and as I record this video there's just been a change where it's now a 2-course meal for $15. You can pick any 2 courses from the menu for a $15 charge, and kids eat free as well under a certain age. So it's a fairly reasonable kind of price. The menu seems quite nice, and it's a lovely, beautiful designed restaurant. You don't have to eat here, but if you want that kind of speciality option, want to experience something different, you can. It's definitely worth checking out. Now Surfside Bites is a really cool kind of grab and go in the kind of middle of the area by the carousel. Here you can get things like popcorn chicken, burgers, churros and pizza toasties, things that you can grab really quick and go taking back to the kind of pool area and stuff without kind of waiting too long. If you want to delve into something a little bit different, or kind of go sit down, have a bit more of a thorough meal if you like, you've got the Surfside Eatery. Now this is a fantastic option. It's a little bit like the Windjammer Buffet, but down in the kids area of Surfside. And what I really like about this is they've taken the variety of dishes that you know and love and just made it even more kid friendly. For example, they don't just have hot dogs here. I think they were called pirate dogs, and they're kind of hot dogs that they've put mac and cheese on, or chili and bacon and all these variety of different toppings. They've got chicken nuggets that are shaped like dinosaurs one day, or cars the next. They've done all these kind of fun, quirky dishes that kind of get kids excited and go, "Ooh, what's that?" And they can delve in and try it. There's also really nice food here for adults. You don't have to worry about getting or being left out of any of the nice food. It's fantastic. The food's really good in here. You've got ice cream and some lovely desserts. You've also got the Coke Freestyle machines, as well as tea, coffee and all the usual kind of juices. Also in Surfside you'll find the Sugar Beach candy shop. This is a paid option. Obviously you can go in here and purchase a variety of different candy and sweets, including kind of off the wall in kind of a pick and mix style format, as we call it here in the UK. Really kind of interesting, lovely shop and stuff. And again, you don't have to do that, but if you want to kind of treat your kids to some extra candy, it's a fantastic and cute little shop. You've got the arcade next door. That is an additional charge as well. Just remember that if you have got little ones, to put a cap on their card or make it a 0 spend limit so that they don't run up a charge unless you're with them. Lots of nice machines in here. They're a fairly reasonable price, but remember that the price can really add up very quickly, so just keeping that in mind if you are using the arcade. The carousel in here is fun, it's exciting for kids, it's really nicely themed, and it is complimentary, so you can enjoy it as much as you want throughout the day. And the play area here, again, really fun for little ones. I also love the kind of decorations in here with the flamingo, the donut, and all the other kind of different bits and bobs that just make it a really fun area. One thing I was particularly impressed with was the slide that goes from deck 8 down to deck 6. This is really fun, and what I love about it is that it wasn't just the kids using it. You also had adults choosing to give it a whirl, have a laugh at the bottom, and it was just exciting to see that everyone was getting involved. It wasn't just an area for kids where parents are sat to the side. Everyone's getting involved and in at the heart of the action. Now in terms of activities in this area, Royal Caribbean spared no expense. They did an absolutely fantastic job. Throughout the day you'll have a variety of different events run. They do things like archery and sports. They do kind of like a family carnival where they've got, large balloon games and skittles, Connect 4, all these kind of fun different activities. There's complimentary face painting in the area, complimentary balloon animals, and they do silent discos and parties and get all the sports equipment out. The staff here in the area are absolutely fantastic. They do such a good job at trying to keep you all entertained. It's just an amazing area. The entertainment continues in the evening as well, so you don't have to worry about being bored in the evening, you've got things like a puppet show that goes on, so you can sit there and kind of enjoy a puppet show. And again, they get the adults involved, so that the parents and the adults aren't just sitting at the back maybe a little bit bored or, you know, out of it. They just get to go up the front and they get to take part. Everyone is having a laugh, everyone is having fun. It's absolutely fantastic to see. So the Surfside neighbourhood on board is absolutely beautiful. We really love it. Now next up, I wanted to talk about the Aquadome. Now this was my most anticipated area of the ship, and it did not disappoint. When you think about cruising and stuff, you know there are lots of fabulous venues on board, but this one for me really stood out. When I saw the concept art, when Icon was kind of first being announced, it blew my mind. Having this giant dome on the front of the ship with the overlook pods and the views outside to the sea, it blew my mind, and it really did not disappoint. It's a really lovely area of the ship. I love how open it is. You've got a couple of different venues in there, including the Hooked Speciality fish restaurant on board. You've got Royal Bling, which is a brand new kind of bling shop on board where you can get crazy kind of jewelry, different keychains, and including as well a goblet that's $100,000 but gives you a lifetime drinks package. Why, I don't know, but it sounds fun and it looks cool. So you've got that in there. You also have the Aquadome market that I'll touch on in just a minute, and obviously the Aqua Theatre. Now any of you that have cruised on Oasis class ships before will know about the Aqua Theatre at the rear of the ships, and on Icon they've moved it to this Aquadome to give you kind of an inside experience, and it's really clever, and it's a fantastic idea. Anyone that's sailed on an Oasis class ship before knows that the sea can get rough, the wind can pick up, that kind of stuff, and unfortunately that means shows can be cancelled. By moving it indoors, they start to kind of reduce the likelihood of that happen. It can still be cancelled due to weather, but for the most part, it kind of keeps it running a little bit better. But again, fantastic venue. You've got this amazing waterfall. There's different water effects and, you know, different equipment with zip lines and all this other kind of stuff going on in there. The show's amazing. Aqua Action is superb. And again, I'll touch on the entertainment later on in a different section of the video. But moving back to kind of the rest of the Aquadome, you've got the overlook area and the overlook pods. Now this area, it blows my mind. It is beautiful. The way it's kind of laid out with all the plants, the lights, they've got this kind of LED wall with these kind of fish tanks on board, and it changes from kind of one feeling and experience during the day to another at night. And it's something so nice about sitting by the window in a chair, just enjoying the sea view, having a cocktail or a cup of tea in the evening, and just, you know, it's beautiful. It's such a nice area. The bar here is amazing. It's really well themed. It's lovely, and it became my favorite area of the ship. I just love that it's always quiet. You can go and enjoy some peaceful time in the morning when you wake up, or you can go for a bit of a cocktail and a laugh at the bar at night. It's superb. It's absolutely amazing. Next up, we have Thrill Island. Now this is the kind of outdoor area at the very rear and top of the ship. A beautiful area, really colourful, and obviously it's home to the very bright and colourful Category 6 water park slides that I'm sure you've all been seeing all the photos about. Now again, an incredible area of the ship. What Royal Caribbean have done here is take the idea of, you know, a water park at the sea and made it even better by putting in all these record-breaking slides. You've got 6 water slides at a variety of different types, including raft, you've got a drop slide, and you've also got some mat ones as well. Again, they're all really good fun. There's a variety of different weight limits as well, so just be sure to check those out. But they really are good fun. They're complimentary, so you can go up and down as much as you can. Top tip as well for that is to try and do it on a port day, as they tend to be a little bit quieter. But they do work through the queues pretty quick if you do happen to enjoy them on a sea day. You'll also find the Flow Rider back here. You'll find the Hideaway area that I'll get to in just a minute, as well as the sports court and mini golf. The mini golf is fantastic. It's really well themed. I love that you've got these kind of interactive exhibits where you can pull a handle and it will move a propeller on a plane to give you kind of an added element to play with the golf. There's a submarine hatch that moves, and again you've got to time it so that you hit the ball as the submarine hatch is open. You've also got the sports court area here that sort of has mini golf, it has football, it has table tennis, it has so much going on in here. It's absolutely fantastic. And you've also then got rock climbing and Crown's Edge. Now, Crown's Edge is the new zip lining thing they've got on board. It is quite expensive at $90, and if you're debating about whether you should do it or not, it's a tough one. We haven't done it. We didn't feel like paying the $90, but that's just us. The people that have done it have said it's very, very good, but it is a very short experience for a lot of money, so I'll leave that down to you. And if you have done it, or are thinking about doing it, or have booked it, let us know in the comments down below. I'd be really interested to hear what you think of it. But again, loads of outdoor activities here, so much to do with the kids. And if you're kind of done with all the fun stuff and you want to start winding down, you can check out Deserted, which is the brand new milkshake bar on board. Now this milkshake bar looks amazing, and it was really, really good. It's a cute little kind of venue. The milkshakes are really, really cool to look at. A little bit on the pricey side, but if you do it as a bit of a treat for your family, it can be quite fun. But I definitely recommend checking out the milkshake bar, and the piñata one was definitely a favourite of ours for sure. We really, really enjoyed it. Also at the rear of the ship, as I previously mentioned, you've got the Hideaway. Now this was originally just going to be an open area for everyone, but it has now become the adults only area on the ship. So you need to be 18 plus to enter here. It's got a variety of different sun lounges, hot tubs, as well as the kind of Hideaway pool, which is an infinity pool overlooking the wake of the ship, and it is absolutely beautiful. You can hire out different day beds here for a variety of different prices. They come with things like a champagne package. Really beautiful area of the ship. Great place for sailors. Sail away as well, so top tip there for that is get there early as well, because it's very, very popular and very, very busy, but it is definitely worth checking out. I love the different kind of seats and stuff that you can sit down in. Some great cocktails here, and you can't beat a nice sea wake view either. So the Hideaway is the new adult area on board. Definitely recommend checking out. It was really, really good. Now, I don't want to go through every single neighbourhood for you, but you've also got the likes of the Royal Promenade with the Pearl that we touched on earlier. You've got the different bars and venues throughout the ship, as well as kind of the suite neighbourhood and obviously the main pool decks. Lots of lovely venues there. For example, on the main pool deck, you'll find Swim and Tonic, which is the new swim-up bar on board, the first swim-up bar at sea, sorry. And it's again, it's really, really cute. I love that the menus kind of will float around on the water. You can just grab one out and pick yourself a cocktail from the bar, and then enjoy the time in the water. It's really, really good fun. The pools are absolutely massive with plenty of seating around. You've got some lovely kind of sofa beds. You've got different kind of hammocks and all sorts dotted around that you can really, really enjoy. So the ship is beautifully designed. I think the elevators are all very clever. They've got these new destination elevators, as they call them, where you press a button to go to, say, floor 11, and it will tell you what elevator you go to, whether it's elevator A, B, C, D, etc. And you walk over, and then you go up or down into it. It's really, really easy, works pretty well as well, and it's a beautifully designed ship. All the venues are spectacular. Really, really amazing ship in terms of design and how they've laid things out. I love that you can kind of tuck yourself away in Surfside for the day if you want, and then go enjoy some time in the Aquadome, and it works beautifully. Next, I wanted to touch on how the ship felt, what the crowd levels were like, and what our overall experience was in terms of finding venues and different activities to do throughout the week. Now, one thing I will say is that for our particular voyage, the capacity was capped at around 80%. Now, we were on the maiden voyage out of Miami. This was done purposefully by Royal Caribbean, I think, to start easing the ship into service without having its max capacity of around 7,500 passengers on board. So we sailed at around 80%. And I think we sailed around with about 4,900 passengers on board. But one thing I will say, even with that level of passengers, the ship did not feel crowded anywhere. We were always able to find a seat. We were always able to find somewhere to eat or drink at a bar or a restaurant. There was always sun lounges by the pool or the splash area, regardless of the time of day. I'd say the hardest spot to get a sun lounger later on in the day tended to be the Hideaway area, the adult only area pool, particularly around Sail Away, which makes sense because it's a slightly smaller venue and it's a fabulous spot, so you have to get there early. But for the most part, you could still find somewhere if you wanted to enjoy that particular venue for Sail Away or some time in the sun. But the main pool deck areas and the Surfside splash area and stuff, we had no problem getting sun lounges or anything. I think a lot of this is down to the fact that Royal Caribbean really have put a lot of fabulous seating everywhere. You'll always find sun lounges and sun beds and hammocks and stuff dotted around the ship, and people do utilise these very, very well. At the bars and restaurants and stuff, again, they've got different booths and tables and stuff set up. So the really popular venues will get very busy. We did the Dueling Pianos bar one night and it got busy from pretty much an hour before the show started. But it's also a fabulous venue just to enjoy a drink, so I understand that. But again, for the most part, you could still find somewhere to sit and people are always moving around the ship. But in terms of crowd level, absolutely perfect. We loved it. It was a really, really well done cruise by Royal Caribbean. It was great. It was nice that you didn't have to spend too long trying to find somewhere to sit or form queues in the buffet or anything like that. It was always really, really well managed. Now moving on to perhaps two of the biggest things of your cruise experience, the food and the drink. Now I'll start with the food. Now the food on board for the most part was absolutely fantastic. We have briefly sailed on Wonder of the Seas a few months prior to this cruise, as well as Anthem and Freedom as well, and the food has always been very good with Royal Caribbean. There has been some occasions where we haven't been blown away, or maybe even been a little bit disappointed, but Icon of the Seas, and at the moment the food they're doing is absolutely fantastic. On Embarkation Day you'll find things like fillet steak and lobster in the Windjammer. You'll find really nice food every single night of the cruise in the dining room and the buffet and all the different eateries on board. Now in the buffet you'll find the classic favourites like hot dogs and pasta, chips and chicken nuggets and stuff for the kids, but you've also got the international station as well, where every night you'll get a variety of different Chinese dishes. They've got Indian, they've got speciality cuisine, you'll find a different theme each night. So one night I think it was USA, another night we had a Mexican night, and then the other next night it was Italian, so lots of lovely options. You'll also find a gluten-free area. They do stir fries cooked customs, and for breakfast things like omelette stations. There's some fantastic options here. Now moving on to the main dining room, we were really impressed for the most part of the main dining room. The service was exceptional. Our waiters, Keith and Sadesh, did an amazing job throughout the week. We really appreciate the time they took to talk to us, tell us about their lives, ask us about ours, and just provide really fabulous service. We really appreciated it. They did an amazing job. The food was really nice as well. The formal night was fun. You had lobster and stuff and steak and some really nice options throughout the week. The only thing I would say about the dining room food is that we wanted to see a little bit more variety, and what I mean by that is that if you're new to Royal Caribbean you'll know no different. It's a lovely menu, you'll really enjoy it. However, if you're a bit of a seasoned Royal Caribbean cruiser and you've been on other ships, you will recognise the menu from other ships on board. I know this is done on purpose to save cost and kind of keep things, you know, uniform across the fleet. However, for a brand new ship, a brand new class, and also the maiden voyage, we are expecting something a little bit different. For example, you'll always see the kind of familiar favourites such as snails and French onion soup. There was a Caesar salad. They always had the kind of beef tenderloin and what have you throughout the menu, and this repeated every night. And while again, if you like those dishes, I'm sure you'll be happy. That's great to see, but I just wanted to see something a little bit different. The way that they've redesigned everything else, all these new eateries and venues on board, in my head I was expecting maybe a slightly different menu. What that encompassed I don't know, but I wanted to see kind of like the new Royal Caribbean favourites, if you like, that they were going to then take forward onto other ships. But I don't know, would you prefer to see a new menu, or would you be happy with the old favourites? Let us know down in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear about that, because it's always a bit of a tough debate. But overall, the main dining room was fantastic. We really enjoyed it. Now I wanted to talk about the speciality dining on board. Now there are some fantastic options on board that are brand new, including the Empire Supper Club, and this is a very unique experience where you sit and have a kind of a set meal with a wine pairing and music that's all kind of paired together to kind of blend and give you this really nice experience. Now we didn't actually do Empire Supper Club on our voyage. It was completely sold out, and with the little ones it becomes a little bit harder, so I can't give you my honest review of that. However, from what people are saying on Facebook, it seems very good, so if you're looking at maybe doing it, I'd give it a whirl. Now the speciality dining that we did do was Chops Grill, and hand on heart I can say unfortunately that this was our least favourite part of the voyage. I think the whole cruise in itself was probably 99% perfect, and for those kind of reasons why I'll get to later on, but this was the one thing that let it down slightly. We chose to do the Chops Grill lunch, which was around £15 a person, a fairly reasonable price, but the service unfortunately and the food just wasn't quite where it should be for a speciality restaurant. I think other people seem to enjoy it, but we've also heard a lot of reviews that were very similar as well. A particular example just for our meal, so it took us around half an hour before we got any bread on the table. It took us 25 minutes, or took 25 minutes before our drinks arrived, which was a couple of sodas. We didn't get the first course until 50 minutes, and we had a bit of a strange comment from the waiter when we sat down, which is the fact that you only get an hour to actually sit and eat lunch here, which was a bit surprising to us given that it's a speciality dining venue, but also even more surprising when it then took 50 minutes before our first course arrived. Now, we don't like to complain too much, I want that to be clear. We try and stay very positive here on the channel, and when we cruise we didn't want to complain because they do work really hard, and we're just giving it a go. We realise now I don't think that Chops Grill is for us, but equally you might enjoy it. But the service was a little bit slow. The food then was okay but not great. The steak that we had for our mine wasn't cooked correctly, and either was our boys actually. And the thing I found really surprising is that the steak came out cold, and then they served it with a cold sauce, which seems a little bit strange to me, but again, this is just our experience. I'm just being totally honest in our review. So Chops Grill wasn't for us and maybe needs a little bit of tweaking at the moment, but it seems that for the most part the rest of them, particularly Empire Supper Club, were doing fantastic. Azumi seems to be okay, and they've also got this new Azumi kind of in the park thing where you can kind of go to a grab and go window and get dumplings and sushi, which seems quite good fun and again quite popular. But some interesting kind of speciality experiences on board, but for the most part very, very good. Of course, we've already touched on kind of some of the food in Surfside, so I won't touch on that again. We really, really enjoyed that. You've also got things like Sorrento's Pizza, located on the Royal Promenade. That's open till late. The pizza was excellent. If you've cruised with the Royal Caribbean before, you know all about Sorrento's Pizza. You've got the Pearl Cafe, which is a brand new venue on board Icon of the Seas, located just behind the Pearl in the Royal Promenade. We love this venue. It's actually open 24 hours, and they have little pasta pots, salads, they've got sandwiches, different cakes. They've got hot sandwiches that they'll heat up for you, and it's fantastic. And what I love about this is that if you're kind of getting late on in the evening, you finished a couple of drinks in the bar and you don't want to go to the buffet, you don't want something too heavy, or you don't fancy pizza, you've got some light snack options. If you just want a bit of a sandwich or a cookie or a little pastry or something to tie you over, you can head up to Pearl Cafe and get yourself something there. Again, completely complimentary. Lovely little venue here on board Icon of the Seas. Definitely recommend checking out Pearl Cafe. So now I wanted to move on to another big part of your cruise, and that is the entertainment. Now, in terms of entertainment, I'm going to talk specifically now about the shows on board. And if you've been on a Royal Caribbean cruise before, you really know that they do spare no expense when it comes to their entertainment. And Icon of the Seas is no exception. I want to start with the flagship kind of production, and that is The Wizard of Oz. That's right, we were off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. This show is amazing. I know I've said about everything on the ship so far, but it really, really was good. It follows obviously Dorothy and her friends as they go through you know, the land of Oz and kind of explore all this kind of different world, and it's amazing. It's so beautifully designed in terms of the set in the Royal Theatre. It's very interactive with the crowd. It's funny. It's just beautiful to watch. The singing is fantastic, and Dorothy is played by a fellow Brit, which is lovely to see. It's a breathtaking show. What they've done here at sea is mind-boggling. We happened to speak to Nick Weir, who's the Senior Vice President of Entertainment at Royal Caribbean, and even he said they can't do this kind of show on land because the theatres are too small, and they're using this giant venue with this production with all these different effects, and it's just so beautifully choreographed and so beautifully written and performed. The actors and actresses are doing an absolutely amazing job. I would definitely recommend booking Wizard of Oz, and try and do it as soon as you possibly can, as it is a new show. They do occasionally run into technical issues, so try and get it booked as soon as you can on board so you are not disappointed. So now I wanted to talk about Aqua Action, which is obviously the aqua theatre show on board that I briefly touched on earlier when talking about the Aquadome. And this show is absolutely beautiful. You've got a huge variety of performers, from divers to dancers to kind of swinging zip liners and all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on. It really is good fun. It's kind of got a slight kind of movie theme, you know, with like, you know, famous movie music and different lights going off. There's a Star Wars kind of like dance routine with flashlights and stuff, and it's mind-bogglingly good. It's a really fun venue. You've got all the different water effects and wows, and one thing that is actually quite nice as well is that during the day you'll actually see them rehearsing, which is slightly unusual, as usually they kind of shut the doors and you'd be hidden away, but on this particular, you know, venue they keep it open and you can sit and watch the performers rehearse if you want, which is an interesting kind of background and look at obviously what they get up to. But it's a stunning show. I definitely recommend checking it out. If you're a fan of any of the other Aqua shows on board, any of the other Royal ships, you will really, really like this one on board Icon as well. Now, no Royal Caribbean ship will be complete without an ice skating show, and there are actually two on board Icon of the Seas. The first is Starburst Elemental, which is what I call the kind of adults ice show. That being said, it is perfectly suitable for kids. It's just kind of a little bit different. It follows kind of the theming of the elements and explores a variety of different kind of elements in the form of dance and music and different ice skating tricks and all sorts of stuff that goes on. It again, beautifully well choreographed, some amazing moments with a juggler there, he's throwing drones around and all sorts of crazy stuff, which was just awesome to see. And then you've got a kids ice show as well, which is kind of based on Humpty Dumpty following his kind of friends through this kind of like magical world and stuff with the likes of Goldilocks and all that kind of stuff. And it's just great. It's really, really good fun. The kids will absolutely love it. It's amazing. It's pretty. And one thing that really impressed me with all these shows on board is that it kept our little one entertained throughout. We have a 4.5-year-old Oliver that I'm sure you'll have seen in the vlogs, and it keeps him entertained. And to keep a 4-year-old entertained, that takes a lot of doing. So again, we were really impressed with that. We loved that he enjoyed all the shows. They're beautiful, they're fun, they're exciting. Don't miss a single one of them, as they're absolutely fantastic. Now I wanted to move on to onboard activities. Now, as with any Royal Caribbean cruise, you'll get one of these each night, which is your cruise compass. And in here, you'll get information about what the next day will bring, whether it's you're in a port for the day, you're at sea, and it will talk about different special offers that are running, promotions, it will tell you what time venues are open, and also what time activities are on. The activities that run on board vary from things like bingo to outdoor activities, dance classes, different sports activities, quizzes, trivia, all that kind of stuff. And there is so much on board to do. You've got the likes of comedy clubs running, there's different music artists playing throughout the day in a lot of the different venues. You've got the dueling piano bar, which is absolutely fantastic, where two pianists sit across from each other, use the crowd and have a bit of a laugh and a sing song. That was really, really good fun. We did that one night. You've got trivia, so if you want to sit and enjoy some trivia and beat your fellow cruisers at some general knowledge, you can do that. Plus everything else on board. They run different shopping events. They've got so much to do, and my recommendation is to each night take the cruise compass and go through and just highlight what it is you'd like to do as a family, so that way the next day you kind of have a general idea as to, you know, what you want to do and when. You can also use the Royal Caribbean app and add stuff into there, and again it will then ping you to say you've got trivia coming up in 20 minutes or archery on the sports deck, stuff like that. So lots of fabulous activities on board. We were really, really impressed with the variety. The kids activities in particular are very good, and again we've done a video on that down in the description below or up here for you to enjoy, talking about the kids specific activities. But for adults there's lots running as well. You've got karaoke in the evening, the comedy clubs I've mentioned, different musical kind of events on. There's a kids parade that goes on in the Royal Promenade, different jogging events and fitness classes. You will not be bored on the ship. You can find something for you regardless of what it is you like doing on board. So very, very impressed with the calibre activities that Royal Caribbean were running. You won't be disappointed there either. Now for the next area, I wanted to touch on something that I'm going to call the inaugural bonuses, if you like. Now, with it being the maiden voyage of Icon of the Seas, the first sailing with passengers on board, there was a lot of expectations from everyone that I was seeing on Facebook and on social media about this cruise and what Royal Caribbean were going to do to make you feel a little bit kind of special that you're on this brand new class. Now, one thing I will say, as I've already mentioned, is they did do kind of additional food items in the buffet like lobster and fillet steak. I don't think that's going to run continuously on board, but you never know. If you're watching this video in a few months time and you happen to go on board, let me know down in the comments below, because I'll be really interested to hear what happens. But one thing they did do really well was making you feel really welcomed when you got on board. They were handing out champagne, so you can enjoy a nice cold crisp glass of champagne as you experienced Royal Promenade and the Pearl for the first time. They were also giving out gifts in your cabin each day, and these ranged from things like hats to notepads. We had a really cool Empire Supper Club cocktail set one day. They gave us luggage tags and all sorts of fabulous little gifts and kind of trinkets and stuff, just to kind of commemorate your experience. Again, it sounds a little bit silly and stuff, but these are really nice little bonuses, and each day I think people are getting more and more excited to go back to their cabin and see what today's gift was. And again, it's just a nice little bonus that makes you feel a little bit more special, and it's fantastic fantastic to, you know, come back off a cruise and have something, you know, that's Icon of the Seas that you can hang up on your wall or enjoy at home. But again, lots of lovely bits like that. They really did do a fabulous effort at making you feel special for this inaugural voyage. So I was particularly pleased with that, because you are paying a little bit of a premium for being the first voyage, but again, they did a fantastic job of doing so. Now I want to answer the big question that everyone has on their minds currently about Icon of the Seas, and particularly those that are looking at booking it, and that is it worth the price? Now at the moment, fares for Icon of the Seas throughout the year are very high, as the ship is filling up very, very quickly. We've been seeing fares for as much as $2,000 or $3,000 a person, so prices really are starting to creep up. If you're a family of 3 or 4, you could be looking in the region of $10,000 for your vacation. Now again, in total transparency, we didn't you know, get given this cruise for free. We weren't paid or sponsors to do any of these videos or anything. This is our experience, it's our family vacation that we wanted to share with you. And continuing that transparency, we paid for our particular cabin a Surfside balcony, £3,800, and that's for a family of 4. So we got it pretty quickly and pretty early on when the bookings went live. I actually booked it the moment they went live pretty much, so I was really eager to get on board. So it is the most expensive cruise we've done, and it is also the most expensive Royal Caribbean cruise we've done. That being said, is it worth it? Honestly, I think so. I think it is an absolutely superb ship. Is it worth $3,000 a person? Very tough one. The ship is fantastic, that's what I will say. How it's designed, what you feel when you're on board with all these lovely different venues, the entertainment. We were constantly at every moment going, wow, wow, wow. And each day we were saying, we had so much fun. We did this, that was so much fun. We did that, that was so much fun. The food was exceptional. The staff are amazing and really look after you and your little ones in Kids Club. And everyone has something for them they can do. If you have little ones that prefer Kids Club and splash areas, you've got that. If the older ones want to go to Teen Club and play on the PlayStation or use the sports court, they can do that. If you want to have a more chilled option, you've got the spa and the Hideaway and all these nice kind of more adult venues. There really is something for everyone on this ship, and I think that's what Royal Caribbean have done so well with it. The whole point of Icon was to become this icon of vacations, the spot where everyone in the family can go and enjoy something on board. You don't have to go elsewhere. You don't have to have half the family go on one holiday and another half over here. Everyone can come together on board in one place to enjoy the ship. And I think, to be honest, they've succeeded. I think everything you've got on board in terms of bars, venues and music and thrill activities or calm activities is just exceptional. And if I could do it again tomorrow, I would. I think it's an exceptional ship. I think it's the best cruise ship in the world right now, to be honest. I can't think of one that we've done that has been as good or better. I really can't. There's been a couple that have been pretty close, but Icon of the Seas really has been exceptional. We've absolutely loved it. Have you booked Icon? Are you considering booking Icon, and what kind of prices are you getting? Again, please leave a comment down below, as I really want to hear all about this. I want to see what kind of quotes people are getting. Are you considering doing it? Are you kind of going to wait until the hype dies down? It's a real tough one because it is a lot of money, but you are getting a lot of vacation as well. And I guess that's the ultimate kind of question, isn't it? Is it worth it? Who knows? That's all down to each and every one of you. But I hope if you do book it, you enjoy it as much as we do. We really had an amazing time. I've got so many positive things to say about this ship and very, very little negative, to be honest. Yeah, it was fantastic. So there we have it then, a very kind of long, comprehensive review of Icon of the Seas. And if you made it this far, thank you. I do appreciate that I talk quite fast. I talk a little bit waffly at times, but that is because there's a lot of excitement to be had on this cruise, and we had such a good time and I wanted to share it with you. So again, we really, really enjoyed it. Not enough positive things to say about it. If you have any questions about the cruise, our experience, the cabin, the different neighbourhoods, whatever they may be, again, please leave a comment down below or message us on Instagram or Facebook, and we will get back to you pretty much straight away with an answer to your questions. But Icon of the Seas, currently the best vacation on sea, is absolutely stunning. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. We really appreciate the help and support. Thank you for all the amazing support on the Icon of the Seas video. Still lots more content to come, so we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the channel. paddle.
Ready for another cruise? Let's go!